Alright, today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video on this manual tire changing stand. Alright, first off, the box is pretty beat up. It comes from China, like straight from them, made in China. Anyway, they didn't do a very good job, I would say, of protecting this. I mean, this is pretty bad. It's pretty beat up, but what are you gonna do? A bunch of nicks in it. Anyway, it's gonna get beat up though, so I mean, what do I really care? Just like at first glance, I'm hoping they don't look like they're through all the way. They've got a weld here and a weld here if there's no weld on this side. So we'll see how these fare out. Overall, it doesn't look terrible, this base portion. Now, this is designed for a tabletop mount, and I saw that when I purchased it, but I didn't like some of the other versions that were out there. A lot of them had a large base, and you'd have to like beef up and put a rubber mat and some wood and everything in front of it in order for the tire to be flat on something, and so you didn't have like any damage to the back of the wheel. I kind of like this one because it was on the ground. Now, I am having to get down on my knees to use it, so that will be kind of a pitfall of it, unfortunately, just being down on the ground. But you know, I don't know, we'll see. It really doesn't look like a lot of these use a whole lot of effort. So it comes with the installation steps, so it's gonna have that. I think this was on the Amazon ad too for it. So it's got the cones. It's got the car cone and a motorcycle cone. This looks like the bar that goes down to the duckbill. And this looks like the main support bar across the horizontal one. The other one is this one. I mean, the welds on this don't look bad. Set all this stuff aside. Just kind of looking it over. I mean, the paint or powder, I don't know if it's powder coat or paint. It got pretty beat up in shipping, I'll say that. Alright, so then we've got these two bars. We'll talk more on this bar in a few. This is the duckbill. Oh, we'll see. It's like, it appears to be made out of plastic. I don't know how sturdy of a plastic it is. You know, we'll find out. I don't know whether, I don't know if I can get that. I don't know whether these are little cracks on it, or that's part of how it's molded. It's interesting though. There's some more down here too, down there. I hope they're not little cracks. I don't know a whole lot about plastics, so if you know a ton about plastics, feel free to chime in on what they are. I've seen this on a lot of stuff, on a lot of these, and I think when I looked at the picture of this one, it was welded all the way around these nuts. Now, the welds on these nuts don't look like, I've seen a few where there's just a little teeny tack. This one's got a little less than I would say this one maybe. but I've seen some where it's just a little itty bitty tack. That doesn't really look like there's a lot of penetration, unfortunately, on that one there. This one looks a little better. This looks beefed up pretty good though, so. And then here's the tire bead breaker. The finish on it, it's a little rough. I don't know what that is. Looks like maybe an overspray almost on the, that's kind of what it feels like on the powder, if it's powder coat. It's kind of odd. Let's see what this is the piece that attaches to. Oh, there's not much to that piece. You could make that one pretty easily. And then the last piece it's got is a bag of all the hardware. So I'm gonna get to setting this thing up. All right, I'll take my little handy instructions here. So I'm not so enthused about this pin design here. I put a tire on here earlier, and it's literally got to go through one of the spokes in the wheel. This top portion up here is rough. If I end up keeping this, I'm probably gonna at least clean this up, because this, I can already see myself getting cut on this edge. It's very, very sharp. Same with this edge. You know, I'm not a machinist, but you really want to deburr and put a little radius, and there's a teeny radius on there, but they really didn't take the edge off or really deburr it very well. It's evidenced by the discoloration too. That's the same way with the other pin. This pin looks like it goes straight down in here, which this feels pretty secure. Now, I say that as I do this. I'll try and hold it as still as I can. So they kind of went oversized with this hole. When I saw this thing, I really liked the design of the bearing on here on the top. And now that I have it, I'm having second thoughts. You know, if you're gonna go through all the trouble to press two bearings in, why is there so much slop? I mean, that's tons. That's got to be 40 thousandths or more slop. I don't know if that matters or not, but that's quite a bit of slop to put bearings on. It doesn't need bearings at that point. So I would say on that, I'm kind of, I don't know about all that. A little disappointed on that aspect anyway. I like how the picture shows this piece floating up here. That was another thing that I was like, all right. I guess it does float when you have a tire on there. All right. So, it looks like this little guy would go on here like so. And this would go on there. So, now I did like this portion. If you looked at some of the other ones on Amazon, they would have a lever right here, and the lever was positioned so that it would get in the way. If I recall correctly, it had one like on the side and on the top, and you couldn't turn it because it would smack the bar any which way you tried to go. So I kind of like this one since they were both on opposite ends of it. We'll see. right. And then the duckbill. Looks like it just goes in with the Allen keys, possibly. No, it's got to go on with the bolts. So they didn't include any washers, so you gotta love that. Where's the washers? I'm gonna go and check off camera to see if I've got some washers that'll fit it. Let's check and see if they even included a bolt long enough to accommodate the washers. They did. I would say that's long enough. Yeah, I'll still have probably one thread or so sticking out, which is fine. But they didn't include the washers. I'm gonna grab some and grab a wrench to tighten this up. All right, I don't have washers, unfortunately. I think the safer bet, I'll put some washers on here another day, but I want to set this up and just kind of see what it looks like. I think the safer bet would probably be to put the bolts in from the bottom and bring them up, just so they keep as much of the metal away from the rim. Yeah, that has plenty of room for some thin washers, so you'll probably want to get some of those. Those are a 14 millimeter bolt, so you'll need a 14 millimeter setup there. All right. These instructions are great, really. Connect 1 to 1 and connect 1 to 2, 2 to 1. So there's only 2 pins. And I think, yeah, on the picture they showed diaper pins, which I kind of liked because I foresee myself taking this apart. It's small enough, taking it apart, not boxing it back up, but at least taking it apart to some level when it's not in use. So I might get some diaper pins for it so I can just pop them in and out. But I swear the ad showed diaper pins. I could be wrong. Okay. So it looks like you can go in either one of these, and that's probably another reason you would want diaper pins instead of cotter pins. Then you could always just quickly swap it to the other spot. So I don't know. Just gonna throw the cotter pin in there just as a mock-up here. So, just looking at the duckbill, where it's at, it's got quite a bit of wobble. It says it'll do up to a 21-inch tire. I believe it said. I don't think it says on here, but that's what the ad says. Of course, this would go down on your wheel. Now, that's you know, that's going to be kind of a pain, and it's got a little Allen, but what are you going to do? Goodness. Doesn't want to go in there either. All right. So the motorcycle one. would get an Allen as well. And that is all the pieces there. First impressions. Now I have owned the Harbor Freight version of this before, years ago. I don't know if the duckbill was a thing you could order then or not, but I ended up taking it back because it scratched the heck out of wheels. I didn't even use it. I knew it would. But this one does look a little more promising. Obviously this would be around the edge like that. So I told myself I wasn't going to grab a wheel and look at it tonight, but I think I'm going to grab one and look at it. Oh. Alright, take you around it to kind of get close-ups. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks really cool. Anyway, so I digress. I guess the big question will be is, does it work tomorrow? So stay tuned.